Imagine this. You're at home on a perfectly normal afternoon. There are no storms brewing, no airplanes flying low overhead, and no construction down the street. It's quiet. Suddenly, a deep, powerful boom echoes through the sky. Your windows rattle, your dog starts barking like crazy. You and your neighbors run outside, confused, all looking up at the sky. But it's completely calm. There's nothing there. This isn't a scene from a movie. This is the real-life phenomenon known as the East Coast Mystery Booms, strange, loud, shock-wave-like blasts that have been reported for over 150 years all along the eastern seaboard of the United States. Today, we're going to dive deep into this enduring and baffling mystery. Let's travel back in time. Our story starts in the mid-1800s. Fishermen working off the coasts of Connecticut and Massachusetts began reporting very unusual sounds. They described them as being like distant cannon fire coming from beneath the sea. These weren't just faint noises. The booms were so powerful they would vibrate through the wooden decks of their boats. Yet the ocean itself was often perfectly calm. As reports grew, these mysterious sounds earned local nicknames. In Connecticut, they were called the Moodus noises. Head over to New York, and you'd hear people talk about the Seneca guns. Further south in the Carolinas, they were known as the Barisal guns. Each region had its own name for the phenomenon, but the experience was always the same, a deep, thunderous boom that seemed to come out of nowhere. There were no storms on the horizon, no recorded earthquakes, and no military activity that could explain it. It was just unexplained thunder, rolling in from a clear sky. Now, let's fast forward to modern times. You might think that with all our advanced technology, these booms would have faded into folklore. But they didn't. In fact, during the 1900s and right into the 2000s, the reports only increased. People from Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, New Jersey, Florida, and even towns far inland all started describing the exact same event. A sudden, loud boom, strong enough to shake entire houses with no discernible source. These booms have a knack for being unpredictable. One might happen on a bright, sunny afternoon. Another could jolt you awake on a cold winter morning. Some are heard right after sunset. The one thing they have in common is that they are always unexpected. Whenever one of these booms occurs, the reaction is immediate and predictable. Emergency lines light up with calls from concerned residents. Was that an explosion? Did a plane just crash? Are we having an earthquake? Local authorities, fire departments, and police are dispatched to investigate, searching for a source for any sign of a disaster. But here's where it gets truly strange. Every single time they find absolutely nothing. There's no debris from an explosion. Air traffic control confirms no aircraft broke the sound barrier in the area. Weather services report no unusual atmospheric events. And the U.S. Geological Survey checks their instruments and finds no earthquake activity. Scientists and investigators arrive on the scene, only to be met with a complete and total lack of evidence. It's a boom with no bang. Naturally, when something happens this consistently for over a century, theories start to emerge. And there are plenty of them for the East Coast booms, but here's the catch. Not a single one has been confirmed. Let's look at the most popular explanations. First, we have the theory of microquakes. These are tiny, shallow earthquakes that are thought to shake the air more than they shake the ground, creating a loud sound. It's a plausible idea, but it has a major flaw. In many cases where mystery booms are reported, highly sensitive seismographs in the area show absolutely zero activity. So if it's an earthquake, it's one that our best instruments can't detect. The second theory takes us underwater. Some scientists suggest that the booms could be caused by pockets of methane gas trapped beneath the seabed that suddenly get released and explode. Another related idea is that shifts in underwater rock formations could create a loud noise that travels through the water and into the air. This theory works for some of the coastal reports, but it doesn't explain the booms that are heard far inland, miles away from any large body of water. Then there's the most common go-to explanation: military jets. A sonic boom, created when an aircraft breaks the sound barrier, can sound exactly like what people describe: a single, powerful explosion that shakes buildings. And sometimes this is indeed the cause. The military does conduct training exercises off the coast. However, there are many, many instances where mystery booms occurred, and the military has officially confirmed that none of their aircraft were in the area or flying at supersonic speeds at that time. The booms also happen in locations far from any known military air bases or training zones. So while sonic booms account for some cases, they don't explain all of them. A more scientific and complex theory involves atmospheric conditions. Experts suggest that under very specific and rare circumstances, layers of cold and warm air can trap sound and channel it over long distances. A phenomenon known as temperature inversion could cause a sound from far away to be heard loudly in a concentrated area, or sudden shifts in atmospheric pressure could theoretically crack the air, producing a loud noise. The problem is, most experts agree that these conditions alone are unlikely to produce booms as loud and powerful as the ones being reported. The energy required just doesn't seem to match up. This leads us to our fifth and perhaps most intriguing theory, that we are dealing with a natural geological process that science simply hasn't identified yet. Some geologists believe that the Earth makes all sorts of noises that we are only just beginning to understand. These booms could be the sound of deep-seated stress in the Earth's crust, releasing in a way that doesn't trigger a full-blown earthquake, but creates a massive acoustic event. It's the sound of our planet groaning and stretching. And finally, there's the sixth option. It's something else entirely. This is where the legend and speculation really take off, venturing into the realm of the truly unknown. For over 150 years, the smartest people with the best equipment have tried to solve this, and they've all come up empty. That leaves a door wide open for mystery. Let's look at a couple of recent, well-documented examples to show you that this is still happening today. In 2013, residents across several counties in North Carolina were shaken by two massive booms that occurred just hours apart. Police and emergency services were inundated with calls. They searched for a crash site, an explosion, anything. Military bases in the region checked all their aircraft logs. Scientists looked for earthquake readings. The result? Nothing. No explanation was ever found. Then, in 2021, parts of southern New Jersey were rocked by a boom so powerful that people miles away thought a nearby chemical plant or refinery had exploded. News crews rushed to the scene. Helicopters circled overhead, and again, officials searched for hours. But there was no fire, no smoke, no damage. Once again, nothing was found. The source of the deafening sound remains a complete mystery to this day. These events continue to happen up and down the East Coast. Sometimes there will be a cluster of reports over a few weeks, and then nothing for a year. Sometimes a single town will experience several booms in a month. There's no pattern, no warning, and no explanation. So why, in our age of incredible technology, does this mystery remain unsolved? The biggest reason is maddeningly simple. The events are transient. The sound happens suddenly, it disappears almost instantly, and it leaves absolutely no physical evidence behind. You can't predict when or where a boom will occur, so you can't set up equipment to study it beforehand. And by the time investigators arrive on the scene, there's nothing left to investigate. The moment is gone. Even with our modern arsenal of technology satellites that can see a dime on the ground, incredibly sensitive weather radar, and a global network of seismic monitors, we still can't crack it. The East Coast mystery booms stand as one of the few genuine, persistent, and observable phenomena that modern science has not been able to explain. It's a reminder that even in our well-documented world, there are still deep mysteries right under our noses, or in this case, right over our heads. So is this a simple piece of regional history, a collection of misidentified events? Or is it a true, ongoing mystery? Based on the evidence, or rather the lack of it, this one is definitely a mystery. And it's one that continues to unfold, one baffling boom at a time. What do you think is causing these sounds? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries. See you next time.